Hello, hello. All right, can everyone hear me? We're not gonna start yet. I still have to grab my coffee. It shouldn't take that long. I just want to do a quick audio test, see if we're good to go. That way we can just do okay. So if you can hear me all right, let me know in chat. Yeah, we can hear me. Okay, okay, cool. So I'll be right back. I won't make you guys wait too much longer. But yeah, all right. All right. Oh, where are you all? There we go. Turn this off. Hello, hello. All right, we are back. We like can't see the chat at all. That's okay. Like kind of see it. Hello, everyone. All right, so yeah, today we are we got some cool stuff going on. I'm doing a double stream, so I'm trying to capture as many time zones as possible. Um, I know the last few streams have been kind of late for some people and actually really good for other people. So we're still having that stream later. This is stream number 1, so 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. my time. Next one will be like 6 hours after that, or 4 hours after that. I missed a lot of the chat, so I'm sorry if I'll try to go back and answer some quick questions that I'm reading. I think people are asking like what size paper to use, and you can use Kami, and we're gonna be using. I think that's probably what I'll teach it with. Let me show you. So we're not gonna immediately get to folding yet. You can see our schedule right over there in the corner. Let me just fix my setup a little bit. All right. And then let me show you the 2 versions I folded, so you have an idea of what size paper you want to use. Now, I will say with Kami, you can fold it, but the shaping is like just okay. The second stream, I'm gonna do some more intense wet shaping with MC, and that one's gonna turn out, I think, better. But already with Kami, it's like totally fine. Okay, so this is with a 30 centimeter sheet of Kami. So this is actually pretty big. And then with a 15 centimeter, it's this big, which is totally fine, honestly. Like, especially for this design, it works pretty well. As you can see, I didn't really finish shaping either one of these. So I think when we do fold it, if we get into shaping, like it's meant to be wet shaped. So like, these will need glue. However, if you don't want to use glue for shaping or MC for shaping, you can just fold this with foil, and then everything will stay nicely and you won't need to use anything. So if you have some foil paper, I think that will work really well. This also has color change. So, and we'll fold it with the color change in mind. The second stream, I'm actually going to be folding it without duo paper. So it's just going to be a white sheet of paper, no color change. And that's, I think the final model will look like that, but maybe when I teach this, I'll use the color change because it's kind of fun and it's kind of a weird color change. It's like a very, very natural color change. But yeah, as you can see, actually, I thought I did a good job on the knee on this one, but I think the knee on this one's better. Look at that. So we'll go into some of that. Like, we'll probably shape it up till this point. Maybe I should fold this with foil. Or should I be relatable and just do it with Kami? What do you guys think? What do you think? Can I use a big sheet of normal paper? Yeah, as long as it's not too big. I think if it's too big, then it'll be kind of hard to fold. Or it'll be too floppy. Hello, boys, please. Well, I mean, the tutorial is right now, right? So it's not quite a full tutorial, but if you want to fold along, I might turn this into a tutorial later, but it depends which version of this I like better. So after we kind of fold one, we're going to attempt to do a simpler version of this, and we'll see if that one's better or worse. But I want it a little bit simpler so that I can teach it at the origami convention. And then basically what will happen is if that one works well, I'll probably have another stream where it'll be filmed. Well, the stream will be filmed as a tutorial, kind of like what we did for the box head. And we'll go from here. So like today, If you fall behind, unfortunately, we don't have enough time to catch everybody up. But this will be a posted, like this recording will be live. Wow, this live will be recorded, so you'll see it later, and then maybe you can catch up later. But it's not quite like a tutorial that I'll post. It just won't be a high enough quality of teaching. So I'm going to go a little bit faster. But I think most of you who are experienced with crease patterns and collapsing already should be able to follow along pretty well. Foil would be cool. There's no foil. Do gold foil. How do you make the head of head empty? What size paper is this? 15. Yeah, this is 15 centimeters. This is 30 centimeters. Thank you everyone in the chat for helping answer some questions too. Hello, hello. What's up, Simon? Good to see you as always. And Drayden, hello, hello. Drayden, great job on your two-headed dragon, by the way. Okay, so as everyone gets their paper, and let me grab the foil that I wanted to use so you can see what it looks like. It's a Toyo foil. All right. Pull. He's back. I am back. Wait, oh, that was a message way long ago. Okay, never mind. I'm using that one. Okay, you're using the same gold foil. Perfect. Yeah, this will be really nice, actually. Maybe, hopefully it's not too reflective so you can see the creases, but we'll just be doing like the gold here and then the white here. Yeah, I normally test fold things with this paper actually just because it's fun. You don't have you don't need foil. Just use glue to shape it. Like basically all you have to do is the torso when we get to the shaping, it's like really easy. You just glue it like this. Right? And then the arms and stuff, you don't, in the head you don't really need glue for. It's just the body to close it up. Or you can just try to find a lock or pinch this really tightly or whatever you want. You can use printer paper. Yeah, I think printer paper will work for this design as well. You just won't have the color change. Okay, but I also prepped some paper for the second stream with MC, and it's drying right now. I need to push the air bubbles out really quick. So here, why don't you all just like watch my coffee bubbles pop for a little bit while I push the air bubbles out. It should take like 2 minutes. I've got like an old hotel key card that I'm gonna use. So okay, sorry again. I'll be right back. But go get your paper ready. my cabinet lights are out of battery, so we don't have our nice purple glow in the background. But okay, I think we're ready to go. Let me get this ready. Hello, hello, hello. All right, we're back. Hmm. Artmord with the emojis. Hello, hello. Okay. A bubble popped. Just one. Okay. Thanks for waiting, everyone. Yeah, I had to last minute make that paper. 6-inch foil or 20-inch DT. I think the DT is just gonna be 12-inch DT. It might be too thin, honestly, but then you can shape it later. So I don't know. Maybe for your first one, just use the foil, and then you can make another one because these are pretty easy to fold. So it doesn't take too long to make another one. So maybe you can start with the 6-inch. Okay, but let me get. Okay, I'm gonna think. Some of you might be able to get started on this, but I do want to go through Origami Dan before we fold just a little bit because I know people have been posting some cool stuff. But I'll give some of you like a head start. So let me show the crease pattern really quickly. Don't worry about pre-creasing, but I'm just going to show you the grid. I think that's what a lot of people are interested in. Okay, so the grid, let me switch views. This one. All right, the grid is 18. I know, wild, right? 18 grid. not the most fun, but if you want to figure that out, go for it. So the crease pattern is this one right here. Don't worry about the one on the right. That was the test, and then this is the completed crease pattern. So 18 by 18 grid. So what you want to do is fold ninths, and if you're not comfortable doing ninths, it's not too difficult. But like, there's a trick that basically you fold one set of ninths, and then it's just an 8 by 8 grid the rest of it. So if you want to wait, that's totally fine. I'm going to do it on my own. But if some of you want to get a little bit ahead, just so you can relax during the grid section, go ahead and fold an 18 grid. And we'll come back to that in a bit. So for now, we're going to hop on over to Discord and do our weekly review of what people have made. And if anyone wants to post their stuff that they haven't yet, real quick, maybe I'll be able to get to it before then. But let's switch over onto Discord. Fold thirds, then fold those and also into thirds. That's the hard way. Unless you do it all at once, because then you have to fold thirds like 3 times. You can just fold 1/9, and then it's 8 by 8. Like, it's super easy. But not interested in grid. Dan shaping comp. Oh yeah. Is that, when's the deadline for the shaping contest? Shaping contest is, this is a contest is The Tree Frog by Robert Lang. It's very nice. Maybe if we do I don't know if I'll be here in June, like at the start of June, but maybe the week after. If I do a stream, then we'll go over the winners. What was, I think we saw Marches, The Fish by Kei Watanabe. Okay, so today we'll do a little bit of a shorter one, and then because we're also going to be looking through this in the next stream. And then if I missed one and someone in chat wants me to look at their fold that's in like your original designs or something, let me know real quick. But otherwise, we're going to start with Starboard. Hello. What's up, Mark? Greetings. The legend himself, Mark. Let's go. Mark Ogami. All right, so first up we have Plants, Lord of the Swamp. So this was today actually. This is from his series of, it's like day 8 of folding the top, what the top comment says. And the last top comment was a frog with a top hat. And there you go, frog with a top hat. Once again, plant with masterful understanding of color changes and unique subjects. So hats are kind of hard in general because they take a lot of space. Like if you need to add it onto a model, it actually takes up a lot of paper. And especially since he's color changed it here, like even if this is on the edge, it's still taking up a lot of paper in comparison to the frog. It's actually almost the same height as the frog. So really cool that he was able to do that. And if you haven't checked out his video on doing that, you really should, because they're really entertaining. Okay, you don't if you can't figure out the grid, just wait, because I have a way to do it that's very accurate and a lot easier than probably what you're gonna try. Okay, next up we have, oh, this is a death battle submission. So this is by Devant Shaw. So if you don't know right now, Origami Dan is having a death battle. So it's 1v1 origami battles. And the first round is just about to, oh, thank you for the prime. Wow. Hold up. Let me look at, can't read the name clearly. Hershey 2, thank you for the sub with the Amazon Prime. If any of you have Amazon Prime or are on Twitch, it is free to subscribe and you can watch the stream without ads. I think that's what it is. Thank you. Wow, I haven't had one of those in a long time. Thanks for supporting the stream and welcome. But yeah, so this is let's see, the 4th avatar of Lord Vishnu, man with a lion head from Indian mythology. And that was the topic. So in this 1v1, the topic is Indian mythology. So this is Devant Shaw's submission. This is really cool. I don't think this specific subject has ever been done in origami before. And if you recognize the name Devant Shaw, he's actually one of the OBB competition winners. He won the last one with Bodo's horse. So you know he's already really talented at folding and shaping. And here we have an original design. YouTube is better. I just had to switch to Twitch to sub. Oh, yo, thank you so much. You are awesome. Oh, here we have this just got on Starboard again. So this is from the last month's shaping contest. I guess it was posted earlier, like it was posted in April, but it just hit the submission threshold to pop up. This is by 4K Monkey. The photo is really cool. This paper colors, like it's like marbled blue and purple and red. That's really nice. I can see why that got into Starboard. And here we have another recent one. This is yesterday, like last night. This is Mayu, and the design is by Peter Buchan Simmons, who just released a book for pre-order, and this design is in that book. So if you're interested in folding a dwarf, it's a fantasy themed book. So there's a lot of other cool models in there besides this dwarf, but they are diagrammed. And I've also helped test fold for his first book. Looks like Mayu helped test fold for his second book. I think you will enjoy those diagrams. They're very complex. So if you are thinking like, there's not enough complex origami diagrams, this book might be for you. Boy, she never reviewed my Bodo horse. Oh no. Mark, if you DM it to me, I'll take a look real quick just for you. And Indian and make origami in India, not that people know it's origami. Yeah, it's growing. I think origami in India is one of the fastest growing communities within the past few years. I think the communities are still small, but there's a lot of talented folders starting. Tim, hello. Thanks for joining the stream. Hey, we're getting some more Twitch viewers since I'm actually streaming in like an American time zone. Let's go. Right now we're just reviewing a few stellar folds from the Discord server before we go into a fold along. So we'll get to the fold along soon. I won't go over too many of these folds just to save on time. Okay, so this is the natural form of the dwarf from that book, and then this is Mayu's uh, interpretation. Mayu always kind of goes a step beyond what the diagrams say the final step is to make it his own. So you kind of see the difference between the two, which is pretty cool. Contrast. Here we have another fold from Joseph Wong. He also had a design for the OBB competition and is known for just like simple, clean shapes, making up different forms and representing a creature. So in this case, it's a dinosaur. It's a Parasaurolophus. I'm not great with dinosaur names, but it's very cool. I played a little bit of Ark Survival, so I think that was in there. And then from then, I think, did we see this one already? Maybe not. Is this a new Kimiro bug? I feel like every stream there's a new Kimiro submission in Starboard because he creates something new. I feel like we might have seen this. If we haven't, lo and behold, another Kimiro bug. Pretty awesome. That's very. I've had some more time recently. Might go back to making paper. Ooh, yeah, let's go. Summer, I feel like a lot of people, because they generally have more time, whether they're working or from school, just get back into origami. It's a good season to do origami. Mark hopes he can go to a convention soon. That would be so fun. Drayden says Mayu is too good, and that is that's a fact. Mayu is insane. Here we have a Fenrir fold. Looks like this is designed by Jing. And this is some sort of double tissue, I think, but really nicely folded. Actually, some of the wrinkles in the double tissue really help for the texture of the Fenrir. Very nice. Oh, we have a Ryujin here. All right, so this was 520. Yeah, a few days ago. We haven't seen this one yet. This is folded by Folding the Galaxy. Folded from a 1 meter square of Wenjo paper. You might have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, I featured the Ryujin as one of the peak levels of Origami Dragons. Actually, that was a stream like 2 weeks ago where we kind of reviewed my fold of the Ryujin. Ryujins are always great. Even now, people are still folding it. I think that just says something about how cool it is. Here we have a Leaf Katydid, folded by Jing, designed by Brian Chan. A very small one. These look really good small. I like that. And we have from Az a very small greater kudu, a 21.5 centimeter Gampy. I have some Gampy paper. I haven't folded with it yet, but I guess it's good enough to fold a greater kudu at quite a small size. That's one of the smaller, better ones I've seen. That's really cool. Okay, we're going to stop there, I think, so we can start getting into the main content. I wish I could just keep going through all of these. There's some really cool folds. But let's see if did Mark DM me. Okay, Mark DM'd me, and that is Mark's fold of the horse. There you go. So this is a Bodo horse, and Mark chose the black and red. There were a few black and red ones. But I gotta say, you can see that Mark knows how to shape. This is really nice, Mark. I like the background as well. I think you are also very experienced with doing horses that are attached to other things. So just doing a horse probably was not too difficult for you. And the proportions you got right. Like I can just see how you were able to do this leg a lot more in proportion than maybe some other submissions. So very nice job. Good job on the kanji as well. And you even kept the other side nice and detailed as well. Getting those muscles in for the legs. Like there's a lot of nice detail. And I think if you folded a horse before, you might, or if you study like some horse anatomy just to be able to fold a horse, you can recognize some of these things that Mark added. So really nice. Look at that. Shout out to Mark. Jared, this should have won. Yeah, maybe if Mark submitted it on time, right? No, I'm just kidding. That's so funny. Okay, let's go back to here. What's up, Jared? By the way, hello. Okay, so I don't think anything been added to Hall of Fame since the last stream. We already saw this camel. So you know, some people maybe gotta step it up a little bit, get some Hall of Fame in there. No, I'm just kidding. The starboard was pretty lit, but let's get into the main content for today, which is this guy. So that's the crease pattern. I'm going to be using the crease pattern to refer to, but I'll show you how to pre-crease it. So don't worry too much. And then later, I think I'll probably add this to my website, or if I make a tutorial, it'll be there as well. But we can start folding. It'll probably take us most of the stream just to get through one, honestly. But I'm not going to be doing this too slow. So not like a full length tutorial that I would normally teach. We're going to be just folding and going. So, but I will make sure I don't set you up for failure. We'll get this 9 grid done. Actually, I think it'll be easier to show. That was a very interesting review. I don't think considering I folded 1 month later. Yeah, Mark's pretty cracked at folding. Okay, so if I go here, let's go back to Oriedit. So how do you fold ninths? Or okay, this is how I like to show folding ninths, just because I think it's a bit more consistent. But again, if you have your own way, go ahead and do it your own way. You don't have to do it my way, but this is my way. Okay, so this is the 18 grid on its own. Let me make the lines a little bit bigger. So what we're going to do is I'm going to fold the paper in half, right? So to find thirds, we normally do something like this, where this mark right here is 1/3, right? So we don't really need that because we can just go straight to ninths. And how you would do a ninth is still using that diagonal method, but instead of folding the half, we fold another half. So hold on, 2, 4. I think I need to bump this up a little bit. So this is 1/4 of the paper. Now I'm not actually going to fold all the way through this, I don't think. So I'm not actually folding this line. I'm just going to pinch it. But if I do it like this and fold, oh no, we need to go one more. So that's a 4th, and then we do an 1/8. So an 1/8 would be here, right? I think it's like this. Is this our 9th? Yeah, this is our 9th. So we fold along the diagonal. Maybe these lines are too big. I'm gonna zoom in right here. So do you see, this is already an 18 grid, but our 9th is like this. So let's get that first, and then I'll show how to do the rest of it, because the rest of it will just be folding things in half. You don't have to find any other reference point besides this one. So let's go back to this. So to fold this, we're just going to be pinching. We're not going to fold all the way through. Or I guess for the horizontal one, we can fold all the way through. So we can fold our paper in half. Although, I know some people said you can fold a third and fold thirds again. So what I did for this one is I folded thirds, squished them together, and then folded thirds through that, and then I had the 18 grid. I think I showed that last stream, how I could do that too. Okay, so let's fold both halves like this. Just so we don't forget. Still need to figure out how to treat papers bigger than my cutting mat. You should watch my video on that. Daydreaming, that is Reza. You should try my method of welding the paper together. Red Hair Pop says, how complex will this fold be? It's going to be a moderate. So if this is your, if you're not used to doing box plate origami, this will probably be a little bit difficult since it's not an actual tutorial. But once the tutorial comes out, it'll be explained in a way that's a little bit easier and less complex. So it basically drops it from like a complex teaching or complex class into more of like an intermediate level fold. Did you ever fold something from the blue sheet? Not yet. Not yet. Hello, I joined from YouTube. Awesome. We're on Twitch. Let's go. Let's go. Should never review Death Battle channel every time, or you should review Death Battle channel every time a round finishes. I think I will. I think I will. Juggle between this and head empty. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Is CMC and MC the same thing? Yes, pretty much. They're not 100% the same thing, but you can use them 99% the same way, kind of. Okay. Okay, so we folded in half. We're going to fold to our half now, but I'm just gonna pinch. So this is our fourth, like this. So that's 1/4. And then I'm gonna do it again with an eighth, right? So now that's an eighth, right? And I didn't fold all the way through. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold the diagonal in half. You don't have to go all the way. I think it's okay if you do. You can use it for the leg pre-crease. But for now, I'm just gonna fold the diagonal like at least until the eighth, right there. You guys see that? Okay. So, oh yeah, cabbage paper. I'm gonna try to do a collab with cabbage paper soon when we both have time. So if you're curious about his paper, I think that'll be a fun like little review. Get you an idea of what to use it for. But now this will be a little hard for the small paper, but just be careful. We're gonna fold from that corner of the edge where we made the eighth down to the corner over here. So I like to start just a little bit on the mark so that it kind of holds itself in place. And then I slowly line up the other corner. And we don't have to fold all the way through this. You just need to find that reference and crease it on this side where we intersect the crease. And so now we have that, which is our ninth, right? Not too bad, not too bad. And then from here, we're just going to valley fold our grid crossing through that line, which is a little tricky if it's small. So you might have to like really look close. Like what I'm doing like this. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. It's like that. And that's 1/9. Now, if your paper is smaller, while you guys are doing that, let me show one other way you can do it. So if you want to be like really, really precise and you don't think you can fold this line accurately, you can do the third. So you have 1/3 like this. And you can fold both of these. And then you have to be careful, but you can basically do a smaller subset of the third here. And this gets you to 9th as well, like right there. So that's two ways to do it. You have a little bit more pre-creasing with the second way, but it might be a little bit easier. But for me, this is generally good enough. So let's fold 1/9 using, so like vertically and horizontally. The second one's a little easier because you have more references. Right now I have that whole diagonal line and a grid line to line up to. Just like this. I went fold with it. I really want that thin duo stuff. Yellow. Yeah, cabbage paper stuff looks so good. Yeah, he's coming to New York. I'm sure he's gonna bring some. Should be pretty fun. Can you please slow down a bit? So I'm not slowing down because this is not a full tutorial. So, but again, later on there will be a tutorial, a more formal tutorial. Here I'm just kind of doing a fold along because I'm practicing this model and seeing if it is teachable. So we can't really slow down, but yeah, this will be filmed and reviewed so you can go back later. Okay, so now I explained this is all we need is the ninths, right? So to get the rest of the ninths, or basically the 18ths, if you think about it, if I keep this folded, we just have to fold an 8x8 grid in the remaining space, and then an 8 grid plus the last one is a ninth. So you can leave that folded and just fold in half with it folded, and then go about your day like you're folding an 8x8 grid. So now I'm going to fold the quarters. Right? So there. And then the next one like this. Right? And then now I'm going to go for the eighths. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then our last one, just fold on top. So we have an 8 grid now. And if I unfold our ninth that we folded, okay, now it's 9s. Look at that. See, isn't that way easier than trying to measure the rest of them? So we just need 1/9, and we can do all the rest. So we're going to do the same thing with the other axes, the horizontal, or I guess both are horizontal from this angle, but do your other set of 9. And okay, what I should have done actually, since I'm using foil, I'm going to stop myself here before I get too far. So if you want your fake head empty to be white in the face, you should valley fold. You should be folding with the color side up. So let me redo some of these creases on this side. That is my bad for not catching it earlier. And with foil, I'm just gonna have to deal with the consequences. Okay, so we're gonna keep folding our eighths in quotations. Grids are the worst. Sometimes. See ya. All right. Thanks, Silverio. Thanks for popping by. It's always good having you. Voice, what is this stream? So this stream, you can see our schedule. We're going to be folding. So we did some review. We always, each stream, we're going to look through Starboard of Origami Darren just to see what cool origami people have folded. And then today we're going to be folding, it's a fold along. It's not a full tutorial. It's kind of like a test of a tutorial for this fake head empty I designed. So the intent of this is I'm actually testing this design and potentially redesigning it later. So that's why this isn't an official tutorial. But I thought, some people might want to fold along a little bit because it kind of is cool. And everyone asks for a head empty tutorial that they'll never get. But this will be close to, this will be the closest thing so far. But yeah, that's the stream. So coming up and sharing this new design, which I think if it works out, it'll be pretty cool. But actually what I'm doing with this design is an idea I talked about last stream, where I'm actually going to be folding like 6 or 7 of these. And if you've watched some of my recent videos, I've done some flips in them. And it's going to be a series of still frames, almost like stop motion, but with all the frames showing of this guy doing some sort of flip that I'm doing. And then that way I can like compare me doing the flip with the origami, but then it's kind of, shown all in sequence all at once. So that's the idea. And it's not like me, it's obviously like a characterization, but I think it's enough that it can still sell the idea. We're gonna see. It's all an experiment, as sometimes these things are. Okay, so I'm gonna invert all my creases really quick so that they're valley fold color up for my grid, just so I don't make it harder for myself later, especially since this is foil. But now we have a 9x9 grid, and that only took like 15 minutes. And to do the 18x18, we're just going to divide all these in half. It should be a lot easier than everything we just did. Hey, Steve, how's it going? I'm here. What do I need to catch up on? We're folding an 18 grid. So we can fold an 18 grid real quick. And you're good to go. But don't worry, this stream will be on later as well. Or we're available later. So if you aren't able to fold right now, no worries. But if you want to know how to do the 9s, so to do an 18 grid, you do a 9 grid, and then basically once you have 1/9, right? If you keep one of the 9ths held down on the edge, and you fold it like an 8 grid, then when you unfold this part, then it's 9, right? And then let me just like take a screenshot of that really quick. That's your 9 references. So a third, and then a third of 1/3 gives you the edge 9th. But yeah, we're not gonna go back because again, this isn't like the full tutorial. That'll be something later. We're just folding along, and whoever can keep up, maybe that's the challenge. Who's gonna be the remaining one at the end, if there even is gonna be any? Okay, so we're gonna do 18 now. We've already folded in half. That's like our first 18th, and now we're on the white side, so we're folding valley folds. And I think I showed this last time, or I showed this when we did the box head. I like to fold grids using the existing creases and just folding them in half. So I find that doing this, even if you aren't fully accurate in your grid, if you can guarantee that the last division at least has pairs of 2 sets that are equal lengths, you're generally okay. It's a good enough accuracy to counter imprecision. I'm impatient for MC to ship. That's okay. If you have glue at home, you can use glue. If you have tape, maybe you can tape it. That's kind of a sketchy shaping. It's 11 in Mexico right now. It is 9 for me in America. When I used CMC, it didn't dissolve. It made lumps. So if it made lumps, you probably need to stir it more before it fully dissolves. So like you take hot water, you put it in, you stir it, you wait a little bit. You need to stir it again after like 10 minutes. Wait another like 20 minutes, stir it more. Because MC will, like the stuff I use, it will clump too if you don't mix it enough. Going to sleep. Thanks for joining in, iCrafter Eli. Thank you. Well, no. This is not deleted. This I won't delete this. This will be on later. If I delete something, normally the stream title might say unarchived, or in the description it'll say unarchived. Or I'll announce, like, in the last thumbnail, it says, I will never teach this again. Um, if it's something like that, which that's really rare, then I delete the video. But this one, no deleting it. It'll be on later. Wait, are you pre-creasing or still making the grid? I'm still doing the grid. So we're on the 18th. It's 9 a.m. in India. Okay, India is lucky because it'll be a good time for both streams. So you get to watch this one, and then you get to watch the one that's later for me, which will be more shaping, like intense shaping. Hershey says, I found for my MC it was clumpy even after mixing it for a long time. After I left it overnight, it was fine. Okay, so yeah, then it was probably the case it just wasn't done yet if it's lumpy. So yeah, there's some patience aspect to it and trial and error. CMC became very lumpy and had a gel layer and it didn't get dissolved. Yeah, it sounds like you need to mix it, but honestly, gel layer sounds okay. Like if you look at mine, it's pretty much a full gel, right? It's hardly liquid at all. It's not clumpy, but it's a gel. It's super thick, and that's a good consistency for both shaping and making paper. Have you tried the double bisector method of getting thirds? No, but I think I saw people cooking that in Origami Dan before, if that's the one you're mentioning. This is why I use glue more often. Yeah, it's just practice over time. You know, my first sets of MC were not very good when I first started to use it. I actually wasn't putting enough in, but then I realized I can put a lot in, and the clumpiness, or not the clumpiness, but the thickness is okay. Looks like Jello. Yeah. No, do not slurp it. It probably doesn't taste good. I think it's edible, but even after mixing a lot, I left it overnight, and there's still a lot of lumps. Did you use hot water? Or did you use cold water? Where's the origami convention? It is in New York. You can watch my previous New York vlog on it to kind of see what it's like. That's on my YouTube channel. MC is good too, but too expensive and too long to wait. Hot water. All right, well, you might just keep having to try. And mix it multiple times, maybe once every hour, if you think it's still lumpy. And if it's still clumpy, just try using it anyways. I've made paper with lumps in it where there were lumps of MC in between the layers of paper, but I still folded it and no one knows. So, you know, you can make it work. I think it's more, you should be concerned more about making it work than having the perfect material, because, you know, you're not always going to have the perfect stuff, and the perfect situation never really exists. Like the perfect paper doesn't exist. Perfect MC might not exist. Perfect paint doesn't exist. Perfect glue doesn't exist. So you kind of just have to make use of what you have, and that's how you'll actually gain some, you know, better experience, by using what you currently have and working with, you know, the difficulties. If you can escape it, then you're doing good. MC is way too expensive in India. Yeah, I have a website blog where it wasn't too expensive. So let me find that. India paper. Let me see how much this cost again. MC in India, or it's CMC. It's 229 rupees. So I don't know if that's super, or I'm not too sure if that's expensive or not, but that is cheaper, I think. Or I tried to find one that was less than others. But this one's meant for wall craft, so it should be good. This says it dissolves easily in water. So maybe this one is better than the other one you're using. I don't know, but keep trying. Keep trying. That's all I can really say. Oh, CMC is cheap. Yeah, again, use the cheap stuff. Don't use expensive stuff. And again, MC might not be better for you. It might still clump. So it's like $2. Okay, so that's pretty cheap. Cool. Yeah, use cheap stuff. Okay, so now we can get to pre-creasing. I got to remember we're folding a model. We got to keep going. I technically set this stream for, we can go a little bit over 10 p.m. I think, but we might not be able to get to the redesign of this. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold the legs. So the legs are only 6 units long, so you're gonna fold a diagonal like this. But you're only going to go up the corner. Am I in frame? By 6 units. So that's 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6. So that's one leg. Our other leg is going to be over here. So we're going to do the same thing. Two, 4, 6. And actually, in case people can't follow along with me, why don't you screenshot this really quick? And then in case you can't keep up with my instructions, because I'm going fast, you have the crease pattern. Good reminder, Steve. Yeah, if you guys like the content you see, if you want to tune into more streams, hit that like button. Let me know. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe. And then later on, leave a comment because I respond to every YouTube comment, at least the first reply. So if you look at any of my YouTube videos, there will at least be one reply on every comment. If it's like a huge thread, I don't always like keep responding, but I'll at least respond to the top one. Crazy, right? Who else does that? Okay. I think that's enough for people to screenshot. So we're going to go back to here and keep going. So the next thing we're going to do, and again, I like to pinch, so you don't always have to fold like this. I'm actually going to fold this one by pinching it, but we're going to fold a diagonal down 3 like this. So the other direction, 3 units. And then we can finish it off, same thing on the other side. 3 units here. Like that. Red Hair Pop says, do you recommend any origami books that doesn't have complex models but are cool and intermediate? I don't know. I've been in complex origami for so long. I don't do a whole lot of intermediate stuff. I'm trying to think. Origami Dragons Premium by Origami House. It has complex dragons, but it also has some intermediate ones. Maybe that's good. I don't know. A lot of recent books are kind of intermediate as well. Maybe someone else can recommend in the chat what books they like that are more intermediate. But I have a lot of books. I haven't folded all of them in a long time. Okay, sorry. I started folding without saying what I'm doing. So I'm going to extend this crease. So remember how we folded down 3? I'm going to extend it by 2 more on each side. So it's kind of nice because we already have the crease there, but we just have to extend it by 2. And then we go back 1 for the last division. So we come back on itself, back that way, just 1 unit. Same thing on the other side. Just like this. All right, so that's the legs and the body section. Next, we need to start from the top up here, and we're going to count down 4. So 4 grid units. So I count this as 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here. And this is where our next fold is going to start, and it's going to be a diagonal. So it's a diagonal that goes down 4 as well. So I like to remember where that is, and we can actually just fold a valley fold like this. If the camera can focus. Like that. And we're folding only 4 grid units. So that's 2. That's 4. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Two, 4. Nicholas Terry's Happy Folding Collection has the, oh, that's a good one. Good recommendation, Reza. Oh, John Montrol. Yeah, John. Oh, like all of John Montrol's stuff will be good. And he has a ton of different subjects, from like geometric shapes and 3D objects to creatures and animals, instruments, people. Drayden says, "Boyce is what every YouTuber should be. He's interactive with the audience." I try to be, because it's you guys that I'm showing this to. So y'all are important. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you, Drayden. Let's see. Works by Katsuda Kyohei? Maybe. Yeah, that might be a good one. That's a little on the complex side, I think. Maybe. But where's the question someone asked about the book? I can't find it. Oh, it's it's on Twitch. The person asked on Twitch about what intermediate book, but you can respond on YouTube, and I think they're watching both, maybe. So Red Hair Pop, if you don't see the answers, or I guess I'm reading the answers to you. But double streaming. Yeah. My Art World, hello. Thanks for tuning in this stream. All right, so we're almost through pre-creasing. We're going to keep going. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to fold 1 unit up this direction and then back. So it's like a little sideways V. So up 1 like this. And then back the other direction, also 1 unit. Like that. And we're going to do that on the other side as well. Like that. You know, when I was watching YouTubers in the past, I think the most fun aspects of it is, of at least like leaving comments or live streams, is if the person you're watching is interacting with the audience or responding in some way, whether it's by video or if it's a live stream, just reading chat or responding to comments. So I always enjoy, like, I think this is what people would want if I dedicate some time and make sure I respond. That's where it kind of started from, but I'm glad y'all enjoy it. Okay, so next we're gonna fold this way by 4 units. So we're reflecting and then just folding 4 units like this. Like that. And then we're gonna go back all the way to the edge, which is just 2 units. And that is for the head. So let's do that now on the other side. So once again, starting from here, we're going to go diagonally 4. And it should just match the other side. So that's how you can check if you did this on the right amount of grids. Is they should be meet up in the middle. Red Hair Pot, thank you for following on Twitch. Steve agrees. Let's go. All right, and then from here, we're going to the edge back that way. Boom. Okay, and then I think that's all the pre-creasing we need. There were some more on the crease pattern if you took a screenshot, but those things will be folded during our sequence, which is fun. So we don't have to pre-crease those. This is it. So it's kind of just like, the top half, the bottom half. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this into a stick. So if this is the head and this is the legs, we're going to squeeze it in like this. So I'm going to start from the middle like that. We want the middle to stay open. So I'm going to fold a pleat one way, fold a pleat the other way, just so I can keep track of the middle like this. So that's our middle. And then I should be able to just like do accordion folds on our grid like this, all the way to the edge. Collapse formers more than meets the eye. True. This is where everything starts to happen. All right. Just like that. Cool. Now it's a stick. I'm going to drink some coffee and let you, anyone who's following along, do the same. Thanks for being interactive with the viewers. No problem. I think this is also a nice way, like if you have a lot of questions, I can answer them very quickly. Sometimes it takes time for me to check comments, or you can only type so much in a comment. And then if it like you need a follow-up answer, then you have to do another one. But here I'm right here, so I can answer. Okay, we're doing good. Stream's still good. Cool. Okay, so I think we can continue. I made a stick. I'm an origami genius. True. You are cooking, Hershey. Let's go. This is like most of the model, right? Like it's not too far off, right? It's not too far off, or right? It's not too. Okay, so actually, before we do anything from here, I want to point this out. So you might be wondering, Boyce, why an 18 grid? That's really weird. Why couldn't have you just done like a 20 grid, a 24 grid, or like a 16 grid? So what makes it different than those other grids I mentioned is if you divide 18 by 2, it's 9, right? And 9 is special because it's odd. And what happens when you have a grid that the size is one, like it's basically an odd number times 2, or the first division in half equals an odd number, is when you pleat it using an axis, the edges are the color change or the opposite side. So most of like my crease patterns most crease patterns in general that are box pleated have grids where let me not use this crease pattern. We're gonna go back to it, but say like the two-headed dragon crease pattern, right? I'm trying not to leak the three-headed one because okay, let's look at the Tingyun crease pattern, right? Because I did that video recently. Most crease patterns have mountain folds as the outermost grid fold. And then the axis is also made up by the mountain folds, right? So it's mountain fold on the outside, mountain fold in the middle. Very nice, right? If you noticed carefully on this one, it's valley folds on the outside of the grid, but it's still mountain folds on the axis fold. So the axis is still, like anything before, we can fold it into a stick, but the edges are valley fold, which makes it color change. And so that's how the color change happens naturally. I don't have to do any structure to color change it. I don't have to flip anything out. It's just like that. So that's the thought process. What is one of the easiest models you have taught us? Probably the 16 by 16 grid human, which this is roughly based on. Right. So this is the 18 by 18 grid human. But this is what happens when you use an 18 grid instead of a 16 grid. you get the color change. It's kind of weird. Oh, using foil, true. It's a little different. I think also my fish tutorial is pretty easy. Stuck and full. Do you have proportion formula for limbs to body that's been learned over time, or most driven by stick figure calculation? Good question. I'll go over that quickly before we collapse. I think that's a really good question. So this one is a little bit different. But if we go to again Tingyun, I mentioned in the how I designed Tingyun for Mr. Pokey. Let me see, I think the grid is like this. So I use this stick figure, and you can kind of see. Oh, you can't see this. Here you go. Now you can see it. Okay, so I think the legs were like 7 units long. 2, 4, 6. I drew them as 8 here. Maybe it's and 1 for the foot. Wait, 2, 4. Oh, okay, never mind. This stick figure is wrong, but they're 7 units long. You can do any, like the standard I think is like 8 grid unit legs, 6 grid unit arms with 2 grid unit body. And the reason for this is if you do that, so 2, 4, 6, 2 for the body, and then 2, 4. Oh, sorry, I need 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8 grid unit leg, 2 unit body, and then 2, 4. It's technically like 5 unit arm with a 1 unit hand. So if you want to see, I want everyone right now stand up. Stand up and have your arms go down to your sides and notice where your fingertips touch. It should be somewhere above your knee, around your thigh. So from human proportion, that's like an easy study mechanism. That's a very similar for everyone. And now all you really have to do is like, okay, where's my hip compared to my arm when my arm is fully down? That's kind of how you get your body. Now with this stick figure here, right? It looks way longer than our 2 unit body. So like, why are we using a 2 unit body? The case of the 2 unit body is 2 things. The first thing is if we're going to shape this arm, origami is a subtractive art form. To shape the arm will naturally get shorter. Same thing with the leg. To make a foot or to make a knee, it has to get smaller. And so we need a little bit of extra space to deal with that, especially for knees, your ankles, your foot. It takes up paper space. The second part is exactly what's happening here. So this is technically a 2 unit body, but you see how the paper is stretching it out a little bit? So because paper doesn't magically hold itself in place, it stretches out a little bit. You're going to add some length naturally, depending on the structure. But that's like that's the reason. Hopefully that makes sense, Steve. That is a very excellent question. And that is a knowledge drop from many years of me experimenting and trying to learn human anatomy and combine it into origami. So there you go. That could probably be its own YouTube video on its own. Someone paid attention in art class. Thank you. Actually, I didn't. And then later on when I was trying to study this, then I paid attention to art class YouTube videos. Red Pop has to leave. No problem. This stream will be recorded on YouTube for you to watch later, so you won't miss anything. What time is my second stream? My second stream is 2 a.m. my time, so that is in 4 hours and 40 minutes about, I think. Yes, I think in like basically in about 5 hours. Thank you, Jared. What grid? 18 grid. Okay, so we're gonna complete this because I only have 40 minutes left to try to finish this, and then which I think is plenty of time. And then I still want to redesign it. So instead of an 18 grid, right? I just explained why 18 grid, because divided by 2 is 9. I want to try to see if I can do something with a 14 grid. And it's going to throw off everything I just said about human proportions, but it might make it look cuter. So just like the box head, where the proportions are like way out of whack, but it looks cute because the head is super big. Kind of gonna be similar vibe with that, but with this kind of color change. And that would be really nice to teach at an origami convention. Um, maybe not folding a 14 grid, but they can handle it. You know, they traveled that far to fold origami. They can do a 14 grid. Okay, so let's actually collapse this. Let's collapse the legs first. That's going to be the easiest thing. Yeah, time flies really fast. So to collapse, if you haven't seen my crease pattern tutorial, go watch it. It'll make sense to collapse later, but we're collapsing the leg like an Elias stretch. It's basically a bunch of reverse folds. So if none of that made sense to you, go watch those first. But we can follow our grid. So our crease, right, we made it this way. And I'm just folding along my existing grid lines and then pinching where the pre-creased crease is. Now, I'm stopping here because we have more creases as we go up. So we're kind of doing two things at once here. Is we're folding in the middle and we're folding on the edge. And we have a little point that comes to the middle right here. And since we're not doing this side yet, I kind of just like to fold it and keep all the layers together like this as I am collapsing everything else just so it stays out of the way. And we're almost done. Just like this. Voila. That is one leg down. Just like that. And now we just have to do the other side. So from here, we have to open the paper a little bit. So just be very gentle. Just open it just a little bit. And we do the exact same thing that we did is we fold along our grid units and then follow our pre-creases like this. I love the bobblehead version of head empty. Very true. Someone asked, how do I do the head of head empty? Go watch the box head tutorial because this section is pretty similar to how I do head empty, except you don't level change. You don't do any level shifters. You just open it up. Oh, okay. The opening up of the box is basically how you do it. It's like generally the same. You just have more paper. So like the head empty, if you do the neck in the same way, the head empty cube will be like this tall, and then you just tuck everything else inside. I would grab it and show it, but we're doing this. So, okay. So yeah, we just keep folding our collapse. Keep going. All right, and here we go. So now we can start to see the color change happening. All right, our legs are gold and our body right here. So this is going to be the torso. This is the white color. All right, so now we just have to collapse the top here. It's kind of like Assassin's leg collapse. It's a lot easier than the Assassin leg collapse for sure. But yeah, it's the same base structure. So to collapse the arms now and the head, it's like pretty much the exact same thing. In this case, we have nothing so far for the first 4 grid units, only on the center section. So very similarly on the other side, I'm just gonna fold it like this, 2 units like this, to make it a little bit easier and stay out of the way. And we're starting here instead, more in the middle with our creases. Like that. And this needs to valley fold. Like this. All right, so this is basically just a reverse fold. And then we can keep going down, and now this is very similar to the legs we just did. Until the bottom, where it gets a little bit fidgety because we have a 1 unit flap right here. So if you remember this set of creases we did that was one way, one the other way. And the way to help collapse this is, once again, we're going to use the side that's not done yet. And we're going to make a mountain fold right where that top of it is. And with that out of the way, it kind of collapses on its own, just like that. And we get that one flap sticking up. And this is going to be the top of the body. So that's this thing right here. And now we just do it, same thing on the other side. So stretch out the paper a little bit very carefully so it doesn't rip. And then collapse it in the exact same way. But this should be, again, a little bit easier because the other side is kind of holding the structure in place for us. Whoa, we got a super chat. What's up, Steve? Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. His name is Boyce. Yeah. Hey, thank you, man. Hey, that's my first super chat. Look at that. Shout out to Steve. I know I've probably mentioned Steve every live stream for the past couple live streams. Steve's awesome. Thank you, Steve. And Steve is cooking up some designs too. So for those of you who are asking more intermediate level stuff, Steve has some awesome intermediate level models. His penguin, I think I featured that penguin in 2 different YouTube videos now. I love that penguin. It's so good. So look forward to more Steve designs and maybe Steve content in New York, potentially. But yeah, thank you, Steve. We know. How do you hide the big flap on empty head? On head empty. Okay. Okay, Drayden, folding with foil feels oddly satisfying. You can fold perfectly. You can't. That's true. It kind of like, it really clicks, almost like you're playing with Legos, right, in place. Now if things are slightly misaligned, it feels really bad, but but when it works, it's really good. Okay. Let me show. Do we have time to show? I can show it really quickly for head empty. So the thing is, you don't hide it. You might not like this answer, but you fully invert the flap so it sticks out the back instead of the front. So it's basically like you push the paper all the way through and then you do a bunch of reverse folds and stuff like that to get it to flatten out on the other side. And that covers the back. And then for the head, I mentioned, at least for this one, do you see how it's all tucked in there? So there's extra paper on the sides compared to this. Extra paper on the sides and extra paper on top. And then with the extra paper, you just tuck it in and it locks it into place. So it locks it here and inside. But to actually fold it like open, it's like this. It's really not too difficult. You just have to test it. The people who asked me before and I told them to test it and they actually tested it, figured it out. The people who didn't and keep asking for tutorials didn't test fold it. Or didn't watch enough of my crease pattern class. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm still folding the arm. Same thing as the other side. Hopefully that helped. I think who asked that? Ching? I think they asked it. Hopefully that helped. Okay. That is the collapse. Not too bad, right? So we just made a fancier stick. So now we can just do the basic shaping. I think the trickiest part is actually with the arms, but let's kind of get everything else ready before we do this section for the arms. So the first thing to do is our face is actually this unit right here. So it can just fold down, I think like this. I actually did some of the collapse a little bit incorrect. Folded on some new creases that wasn't supposed to be there. Fold on the creases that were supposed to be pre-creased. Oh, actually, maybe I taught the pre-creasing wrong, but you can figure this out. It just, the stretch instead of going to here just flips up. This is our face. What I want us to do before we do some other stuff is let's flip the face open like this, and we're gonna make 2 valley folds, one of them right there and one right there. And I'll show you on this one so it's easy to see, right? It's because these are coming together that it's like a rabbit ear fold like that. And it's easier, especially with foil, it's easier to do this as a pre-crease. So just like this. And then do the other side. Draw all the layers, except the face layer, just the neck layers. It's easier to do this now than later. Just like that. So we have this pre-creases. We have a little extra creases here. That's totally fine. We're going to do the same thing in the body down here. So right where this middle flap sticking up ends, that's where we're going to start it. And so that is right here. We're going to fold. I'm going to face it this way. We're going to fold like this. And we're basically making a rabbit ear. So if we were to squeeze the body together, it forms a rabbit ear with these 2 folds together like this. See, that's a rabbit ear. And then we also have to do that underneath this torso flap up here. And this one I'm not going to treat as rabbit ear. I'm just going to pre-crease it like this, just because there's enough space. The stick needs a shirt. We put some pants. True. We put pants on the the stick. We'll give it a shirt. We just have to fold its body first. It lags at the collapse. Okay, it'll be okay, I think, in the recording. If not, wait for the real tutorial. We'll be chilling. Okay, fold fast. Okay, so I think we're doing good. So, okay, this is the tricky part. We have to get the arms to swivel out like this. And I'm actually going to show the crease pattern again. So the most important crease here is this mountain fold and this mountain fold on each side of the chest. So how you can find this is okay, there, that makes the grid lines a little bit bigger. So if you can find this where this is pre-creased, you go up 2 grid units, and then that's where these are going to form. But try to keep that in your brain as we do this, or as you find it. So we're actually going to have to look at the back of the stick and open it up a little bit, and you can actually see the flap, the structure that makes up this guy, the 1 unit flap, is this thing right here. Let me grab a tweezers to point at it. So this whole thing, that's that structure. And what you need to do, this needs to basically rotate 90 degrees. So we got to pull that flap open like this. And then remember, we're counting 2 grid units. So that's 1 grid unit. That's 2 grid units. And then from here, that's where those new creases need to be. And then since we're looking at the inside, it's going to be valley folds. but on this side, you can start to see it's going to turn into mountain folds right there and then right here. But it's okay if you just kind of squish it into place low key. Just try to get it kind of started like this, and then you can kind of just squish it as long as it's a 90 degree, right? Like that. So then you can just do the other arm. It'll feel really, really good if you actually get the creases aligned. But if it doesn't fully align and it feels bad, it's kind of okay as long as you don't see it. It's all happening on the inside. But once again, we're taking that 1 unit flap in there. We're opening it up so that 2 grid units can be seen. 1, 2. And as long as you do that and just kind of press it into place, you'll have enough of the paper to do the rotation. So it's like right there, and then you can see I'm just squeezing this back together with that kind of in place. I'm gonna crease it just a little bit more on the inside to get it started. And then that's going to allow it to have swiveled 90 degrees like that. And now this is where all that pre-creasing came in handy for the head, that rabbit ear. It's actually going to, we can actually fold both the body rabbit ear like this. And then this one, which will be new, the base of the neck will fold right on top like that. And then with that, the one for the head is also going to fold down to make the neck like this. And once that's in place, we can flip our head up. There he is. And then with the body, we can squeeze the ones by the hips a little bit more. And these actually become more like hips, hip joints. And we have our torso. Now, you might notice this point kind of sticks up too far. So if you want, you can just fold this guy down a little bit and he can stick inside. There's like a little pocket right here that forms. We can just push it inside that pocket and hopefully it stays. This is where foil might help out a little bit more than regular kami, because the regular kami is going to be fighting you more of the time. You can stick it in there and pinch it closed like this, and then just let this one fold back on top. Something like that, right? There we go. I like how this one lets the upper body bobble. Yeah, if you get that lock, then it won't really bobble because it's stuck in there. But if you're using like kami, it doesn't really want to stay in there, so I don't think it'll bobble. Like this. I think it'll still kind of stretch out a little bit. Oh, maybe not. Maybe kami hold. Well, no, not really. Yeah, but it kind of bobbles. But you can use this for shaping. So for like the bigger one, when I'm doing different poses, I have another axis of rotation to shape with, which is kind of fun. If you think about yourself, my hips can be square, but I can twist my shoulders, right? I can twist my shoulders. So if we didn't have this, if it was all just one, right, paper, it's hard to twist the hips without also twisting the shoulders. So if we have 2 separate ones, now we can twist the shoulders and the hips separately. And that is why a lot of origami models don't look very dynamic, because their shoulders and their hips are locked together. So the way to fix that is either really good shaping, which is like you're very carefully, very strongly mushing or squeezing the paper into place, or you design it with a rotational axis under. Like this is basically like a spine, right? So that's why I've been doing this kind of technique a lot more. Even with it locked in, I can still get that twist. All right, so we're pretty much done. For our arms, we can just fold them down like this. I'll show you what I do for the hands. So technically we could get a lot of fingers in here, but I like to have the hand color changed. So I look for this middle one that's white and I kind of squash fold down like this. And that gives me two flaps that have white showing on the inside versus the gold. And then what I do is I just try to make one of the flaps into a thumb by just basically folding like a 22.5 degree. So it kind of makes a thumb shape there. And then I just tuck the rest of it behind. Oh, that wasn't enough. But to kind of make like a hand shape. And then you can just like round out the hand on this side, because you don't really want like a blocky hand. Or maybe you do want a blocky hand, because it's just like it's kind of a blocky character in general. And then if we want the hand to be facing this way, then we need to like make him say hi like this. Or basically fold the arm so that this can show. So I'm pretty much just like squeezing it in half, but at an angle, so that the arm appears a little bit thinner. But I'm not covering the color change. Something like this. And let's do that with the other hand. We still have time, so we're doing good. Pulpo has to go. Gotta eat there. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the stream. I hope you have a nice dinner. Drop a like if it has spine. True. If you have a spine, drop a like. Oh, I guess I could have done the hand the other way too. Okay, so I folded the first hand with this showing, but maybe to make it easier to shape, you can just do it this way. Okay, basically you can do the hand color change any way you want. It's pretty easy. Go one way. This way makes the so you can see it if you fold the arm down. Except this time the thumb's in the wrong direction. So let me change let me change that. Like this. Is head empty too? The one where he holds the head supposed to have fingers on both hands? I think so. The fingers on the hand that's holding the head is really cursed. So it's because the paper layers are so thick that it's really hard to get fingers to look like fingers. But yes, they are supposed to have fingers. Well, there's enough space. There's too many layers. It's really easy to get the flaps. You just put them just like my samurais and everything. But to shape it, is really hard because it's so thick. This is why there's no tutorial, because there's no good way to do it. So you either know how to do it like this or you can't. But honestly, if you're displaying both of them, you probably want to display it where it's just showing the good hand. You know what I mean? Makes it look a lot more dramatic, and the illusion sells a lot more. That's pretty cool, huh? That hand. That's the easy hand. I'd love to see a Charlie Chaplin version with a pose and him holding his hat off. Oh, that'd be cool. I see. Yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, so let's go over the legs. Or actually, let me show you one thing. So if your head, like mine, is kind of flopping upwards, it doesn't want to stay down. One thing you can do is if you look at this one, do you see how I have some small little folds that get pretty close to the head, but they kind of crimp this whole thing upwards and inwards a little bit? That really helps keep it in place. So basically what you do is you start folding up along this area, but then fold inwards like this way on it at the same time, and you'll get these tiny little creases showing. And that helps lock the face in like this. And it's kind of splits it to like you're folding the square in half. So it does show that crease line, but I think that's okay. It kind of makes the face like that way. So instead of like a flat box, like our box head, we have like two planes that are kind of, instead of like this, they're like that. Okay, so let's do the legs quickly. So for most of you, I don't think your torso is going to be fully locked in. Even mine is starting to escape. So what I did on these ones actually is to make the, and I think this makes more sense for pants in general, is I take this flap at the very bottom and I fold it in half. So I mountain fold and tuck half of it inside. So this one grid unit, I'm folding it in half and tucking it inside. That wasn't exactly half, but whatever you can get. And that just makes the torso proportion a little bit better when it's stretched out. Because remember, we wanted the 2-unit body, but because of how paper works and it fights you, it stretches out more close to 3, which is still okay. But since our legs and our arms are shorter on this model, it's 4-unit arm, 6-unit leg, not 6-unit arm, 8-unit leg. We have to be closer to a 2-unit body to make it work. And then once you have that done, I'm just kind of doing some small creases. Right, see how I kind of did this, but with the foil, I'm just curving it a little bit more deeper like this. Like a little curve fold. And that helps hold it in place like that. The torso. And then I don't really like the torso looking so blocky here, so I'm just going to round the corners like this as well. And that kind of keeps the whole torso shape going. Like that. And now we just have to do the legs, or sorry, not the legs, the toes, or the feet. So the reference I use for the feet is we take this corner and we place it around the halfway mark of this grid unit. So if you count up basically the third grid, or 2.5 grid units, I'm gonna fold right there. And that's about where our foot should be. And this is a little small to do a foot, but if you look at this one, again, it's kind of like a curved crimp that forms the foot and the ankle. So you got to fold like a really tiny one of those for the foot so it can curve. But it'll also help start to make an ankle. Like that. And then the toe is kind of pointed out awkwardly. So you want to fold the corner in just to change where the foot direction kind of goes. That way it looks more like a foot than like a weird triangle sticking out the side. I think I said your name right. I think I called you Stavik, but it's Stab CCC. Sorry about that. I'm just reading that now. Okay, and then from the ankle where it gets kind of thinner, you can kind of keep that thinness up through the calf area or anywhere of the leg below the knee. And how you know where to place the knee is basically try to aim halfway from the ankle to your hip, and then the halfway mark there will be your knee. And in this case, we can kind of use the grid that's already there as a knee. It works on this one. It's a little bit easier to guess the proportions on like a smaller model because it just is naturally a little bit easier. Actually, I think the knee might be a little bit below that grid line. So if it starts to look awkward, just go a little bit below that. I think it might look a little bit better. And you don't have to do too much of a knee when it's small. But let's try to get the other foot and it'll look a lot more complete. And we're just about done. Okay, now I'm thinning out the calf. Right around to where I think the knee should be. And we can make our toe a little shorter so it's not weird triangle shape. Is the next stream in 4 hours? Yes, it is in 4 hours. So I have some friends that wanted to hang out, so I'm gonna hang out with them, and then we're gonna start the next stream. Or I'm gonna hang out with them, not us. And then I'll do stream part 2. And there you go. So that is our fake head empty shaped. So that's like very basic shaping with a bigger paper. You can see I did. Hold on, gotta sneeze. Okay, with the bigger paper, I did a much more complex knee. Where like I used part of the grid to start the top of it like this. This is where it bend. And then I used some diagonal mountain folds with some crimps. And then another 3D crimp on the underside to make this little curvy thing underneath it that stops and kind of goes back on itself to make a knee like this. And this kind of resembles what the kneecap does on your actual knee. So your kneecap, it's kind of floating above the joints, attached to a bunch of tendons for where the bones connect. It's like if you just look at your own knee move and watch where your kneecap kind of, rotates on your knee, it looks a little bit, this looks a little bit more like that than just doing like like a bend a little bit more. I think it sells it just for the leg shape a little bit more, but it's really hard to get right. Like because I did this, it kind of crinkled the edges of my calf here, and the calf doesn't look that great. So it's kind of a trade off. But I think if you don't look at that and you just look at the knee and the upper knee, it like looks okay. But this was practice for when I used a nicer paper where I can wet fold it, and it'll be a little bit easier maybe to do that. But yeah, that knee, I'll probably go over how I try it. We're going to see if I fail or if I get it correctly on the nicer paper fold of it as I shape. And then also from the larger paper, you can see I did some like 3D crimps. So basically the crimp fold isn't going all the way through the paper, and that allows the other side to bend like this in a 3D manner. So it kind of rounds it like an arm and some muscles. So I did that to shape the arms. I just skipped the color change aspect because in this case it doesn't really matter. I'm planning to do it without the color change. But that's how you can get some more advanced shaping. And then ideally this guy is going to be looking like he is doing a swing. So what I wanted him to do is have his foot planted, have his leg raised, and then his arms are starting to throw over his head like he's setting for a backflip. So like kind of like you can't really see my legs, but something like that. And then to do that, I actually had to make the hips kind of go a little bit wider. And then the same technique with the head is you can actually use this section of the hips like this. And this will change the direction the hip is pointing. So now this leg is out and this leg is like this, which is a little bit more like what your hips should do when you do this trick. So like, if you were to do a swing into a backflip, you want your hips to be facing this way, even though you're swinging like this way. In this case, sorry, it's not just a backflip. This would be a backflip with a 360 twist. And by rotating your hips like that, you'll do it. Maybe I can show a video. Okay, here's a video. Oh, see you, Mark. Nice knee explanation. Thank you. Okay, so like here's the full clip. Right, so this is my setup. But basically, once I get to my leg, I'm swinging. And then as I swing upwards, I'm turning my hip open with my arms pumping. And then that lets me get a full twist like this. So it's a backflip with a 360 twist. That's all happening at the same time. So actually, it doesn't even look like a backflip anymore because I'm twisting like. So the backflip would be like this way. But because I'm doing a backflip with a 360, it starts going this way and turns. Is that the right way? It turns as I'm coming around. So it looks like it's over the side. So this one was going to be like the beginning of that, where I'm starting to twist off jumping. It's like something like that. So like right there. That's what I wanted this to be, except I didn't actually finish shaping it. But you can kind of see if I hold it together, like what the intention was trying to get to. So hopefully this project works though with the nicer paper. I can shape it a little bit easier and actually have the whole sequence. So I think it'd be like the first step will be something like this. I might not do the twist. I might just do the backflip because the twist is kind of hard to show. But it'd be like it's kind of the same thing. I'm ready to swing. I swung. That's 2. Now I'm in the air, and for the backflip, it's just backwards, and then like just more through the air going backwards, and then the last part will be landing, kind of like that. Um, and that'll be the piece. It'll be, like the first pose, the second pose, the third pose, the third pose, something like that. Or it might be in a circle, so that if you just like view it, it's like a repeating cycle. Because technically, the ending pose, right? This could you could go into another flip from here by swinging back the other way and doing another one. So that's the idea for this project. I don't think I'll get it done by the time the convention hits, but that's what this design is for. Now, what I can get done by the time the convention comes around is like either this, teaching this, or doing like a simpler one, because I can just like bring this in and it's kind of okay. But then I'll use it later for the big project. But this is kind of fun to fold. And we taught it within like an hour and a half. Now, obviously, it's going to take longer still. I think this is more like a 2-hour Origami USA class or 3-hour class, but maybe not 3 hours, like definitely 2 hours though. Is this clip of you from the Looking Beyond fold? Oh, the Looking Beyond video it's a similar move, except my legs are together. So instead of swinging them back in, they like come together and form an L. So they'd go like, this is fun. I can use these as positions. So as I'm twisting through the air, my body hits a pike like this. So the twist is this way with a pike instead of twisting with just my legs like this, instead of twisting like this. Thanks for all the explanations. Very cool concept. Hey, great seeing you, Anita. Thanks for stopping by for the stream. Yeah, this stream is just about over. We just hit 10 p.m. I might stick around a little bit. I'm going to see if my friends are ready to hang out or not. If they're not ready yet, then maybe we have some time. Okay, we might have a little bit of time, but I'm going to keep an eye on the clock. We're going to start winding down. So I know in the stream schedule, we have even simpler head empty designing. I guess we can start that. So my idea, I kind of mentioned it. Let me rearrange my dashboard so I can see this. By the way, thanks everyone for folding. If you're into Discord, just send a pic. You can send pictures of this in there and tag me or whatever. Or if you post on Instagram, just at me. Or if you're watching the stream later and you fold it, tag me so I can see it. If I remember, I'll try to feature it in another stream. So yeah, I do want to see them. And if you want to know what it's called, just call it Fake Head Empty. I'll probably have a better name for it later, but right now it is Fake Head Empty. Okay, so let's try to design this from a 14 grid. So I'm gonna take was the original 16 grid. And then where's the copy button? Okay, let's copy this up here, and then we need to shorten it. So here by 2. So this should be 14. And if I drop the grid in half, this should be 7. So 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, we're 7. And then 14, like this. All right, so let's try while we have some time. Not much time. We're gonna like speed run this, but I can kind of keep things similar. So I think I can still. So if I have 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, like basically I won't have the body, but I might be able to, that might be okay. Yeah, so this is our axis. So pretty much it's gonna be like, there's no real flap to use here. These will just be hinges. And then if we want it as a stick, it used to be 4 here to collapse down. Let's see if we can still do like a set of arms with the, okay, we're gonna have to drop this down. So like this is what we would want. So I think the solution is we do a shorter arm and then a shorter, oh, and then we keep the neck. Okay, so the neck needs to be ideally 4 units, starting like this. So if we keep the exact same structure for the face, it's like this. And we might not need this long of a neck if we use the axis. Okay, so actually, I think even if I do something like this, there's basically no body. Okay, so we shortened the legs as well. Let's do 2, 4. Does this even work? 5 unit legs. Now we have kind of a flap for the torso. This is kind of getting into weird territory, but I think this will leave us with a 1 unit body. So something like this. Let's change these. So our axis is here. And then I'm just drawing out some of the mountain valleys so I can see if it'll make sense like I'm thinking of it. So we'll still have the color change of the shirt and the legs. And then I think we'll also have enough room because we do the swivel thing with the arms. That was kind of weird. Even like 2 unit arms don't seem like a lot. But the weird swivelly thing we did with the arms, it's almost acts as like a river meander maybe, but it gives the unit we trade from like this section, I think it gives it to the length of the arm. And I think it happens here. It's like this. It's either that or it's like here. Oh, not like that, like this. Maybe is it here? Oh, it might be. It might be a little different because we don't have the 1 unit flap in the middle. I forget what this shape exactly is, but I think it translates into the arms somehow. I'm gonna have to test fold this and hope that it works like I think it will. I think this is here. I think it's something like this. Okay, so I think in the next stream, maybe we'll try folding this if I finish shaping the other one, or we'll try to fold 2 at the same time. And see if this works or not. But that is our speed run design for fake head empty version 2. Oh, okay, hold on. These go here. Like this. So I don't know if any of that makes sense. but that's kind of okay because I don't know if this even works. Like, well, I think it works. I'm like 70% sure it works. I just don't know how the hinges actually translate and what it's gonna look like later. Um, but I think we get 1 unit body, like 5 unit legs, two or technically 3 unit arms, and the same head. Origami imposter head. Origami fake head. Okay, so that's 14 grid. So look at this. We have like 16 grid. Technically the 16 grid human is like this. Which it actually has the like 8 unit arm, 6 grid. Sorry, 8 grid leg, 6 grid arm. So 2, 4, 6. And then it's like actually has too short of a neck than what I normally prefer. But the one from the tutorial was like this. That's basically the crease pattern. And then like this isn't the hinges go elsewhere. But it's essentially like this. So 16 grid, 18 grid, 14 grid. Crazy, right? And with that, that is our stream. So thank you everybody for watching. I will post these crease patterns if they work out. I'll at least post the 18 grid one later. I'm gonna get it ready for like an Instagram post first, maybe. And the 14 grid, I have no idea. I'll test fold it first, see if it works. But if not, you have it in this stream, saved and recorded. If you're watching this later, you can screenshot it. That will be all for now. I think later we do have our stream, so this isn't it for today. In 4 hours, if you're awake, we're gonna be doing that. Um, that stream's gonna be, I think, a little bit wild. We'll see how much we actually get through, and then if I try this 14 grid thing, and then if I also want to discuss some ideas for content coming in the future. Uh, and yeah, so the next stream should be pretty action packed as well, even though we're not, well, I'm not teaching like I kind of did here. But if you guys enjoyed, thank you so much. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this or if you folded it. And then if you do fold it, tag me later on Instagram and all that fun stuff. I can do, typical YouTuber outro, like and subscribe, what you guys know what to do. Uh, but thank you all for watching. Means a lot. These streams have been crazy. Like I think I saw earlier we were at 30 viewers on YouTube plus some on others, and then last week we had like an average of 50. Like that's I've never had that many people watch before. So I'm glad you're enjoying this. Glad you're enjoying the weekly streams. Glad I can share all this origami with you, and I hope you have a nice weekend. So I will see you soon. And I meant to have an end screen thing, so we're gonna use this start screen, and then it's going to turn into the voice logo, which is gonna turn into the ending screen in like 2 seconds. Um, there we go. Ending stream. All right, thank you everybody. I'll see you in 4 hours. Good night.